Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button, and give this video a like up. Original Young and Restless cast member, dead at 75, it's a sad day in Genoa City. Though on screen, the talk of the town is the imminent appearance of mystery man Aristotle Dumas. Get a sneak peek here. Off-screen, The Young and the Restless is mourning the passing of Pamela Peters Sallow, who originated the role of Peggy Brooks back in 1973. The actress' death on June 4 at age 75 was announced on social media by Todd Hirsch. "Ugh, so gutted," he began. "Received news last night that my friend Pam Levy, one of the coolest damn ladies I have ever had, the good fortune to know, has passed. I met Pam and her husband Marty in 2017 when I moved my office next to theirs in North Hollywood. The friendship with the two of them was instant. Besides their business, they both were actors," he continued. In addition to the soaps, he was in lots of commercials and basically every cool 70s TV show, like Happy Days, The Partridge Family, Emergency, and Butch Cassidy, and Marty has been in all sorts of things in his own right. In closing, Hirsch sent this message to his second mom: "I hope we meet again someday. 'Cause whatever possible afterlife there is would definitely suck without being able to hang out with you again to talk lots of bleep." Longtime Young and Restless fans will recall that Peggy was an unfortunate soul who careened from one devastating twist the attentions of her married professor to another, rape to another, nearly dying while trying to expose a cult. A curtain falls, a light remains. It's a sad day in Genoa City. The world of The Young and the Restless often spins in scandals, secrets, and surprise resurrections, but sometimes the news isn't scripted. Sometimes the heartbreak is real. Pamela Peters Sallow, the elegant, soulful actress who originated the role of Peggy Brooks in the show's very first episode on March 26, 1973, has passed away at the age of 75. Her death marks the end of an era, and for those who remember the early days of Genoa City, it's more than just a loss, it's a farewell to one of the show's founding spirits. While the headlines off-screen mourn Pamela, on-screen the canvas is shifting. A new mystery man, Aristotle Dumas, is about to take the town by storm. But even his looming presence can't eclipse the sorrow that now touches every frame of the show. This is a tribute, a reckoning, a reflection on a woman, a character, and a legacy that shaped 50 years of soap opera history. The Girl Next Door in 1973, The Young and the Restless was a gamble. Created by William J. Bell and Lee Philip Bell, it sought to blend social realism with high drama. In a soap landscape dominated by hospitals and mansions, Y&R began with a family, the working-class Foster clan, and at the heart of it all, a young woman named Peggy Brooks. Pamela Peters Sallow embodied her with quiet grace. Peggy was the good girl, the aspiring nurse, the moral compass to contrast the turbulent Catherine Chancellor and the volatile Jill Foster. She had no schemes, no vendettas, just dreams. She was what viewers clung to in a time of Nixon-era cynicism, a reminder that decency could still shine. "I remember her eyes," said longtime co-star Jaime Lindbauer. Pamela didn't need to say much. She could tell a story with a look. Peggy's romance with Snapper Foster, played by William Gray Espy, was soft and painfully human. They were Genoa City's first almost couple, drawn together by kindness, but torn apart by life's chaos. Pamela left the show after a few years, quietly, without a grand set-off, but her impression lingered, the legacy left unspoken in characters who return again and again in various incarnations. Peggy Brooks never came back. No recasts, no reappearances, just memory. And yet, in soap lore, that kind of absence becomes presence. She was spoken of, referred to in passing. Peggy moved east, someone would say. Or, I wonder whatever happened to Snapper and Peggy. Because, in soap operas, characters never truly vanish. They exist in the minds of those who watched them grow, loved them, said goodbye. Pamela Peters Sallow's portrayal set a tone for the kind of emotional depth that The Young and the Restless would come to master. She made vulnerability cinematic. In a genre that prizes melodrama, Pamela's Peggy felt like a documentary. And now, as news of her passing sweeps through the community of lifelong fans, there's a collective ache, the loss of a forgotten cornerstone. Mourning on-screen, Genoa City reacts in an inspired twist of life imitating art. Y&R's writers have decided to pay tribute within the world of the show. In this week's episode, Nikki Newman, Melody Thomas Scott, finds an old newspaper clipping while cleaning out a box at the Newman Ranch. The headline reads, Peggy Brooks honored for lifetime service in community health. Nikki pauses. "Oh my God," she whispers. "Peggy." She brings the clipping to Lauren Fenmore and Victor Newman. The trio reminisce about the days when Peggy worked in Genoa City Memorial, and how she once cared for Catherine Chancellor. After a breakdown, this sparks a town-wide tribute episode. Characters old and new gather at Society for a memorial event held in Peggy's honor. It's not a funeral, it's a celebration. Faith Newman gives a speech about unsung heroes. Jack Abbott recalls being treated by Nurse Brooks as a reckless teen. Even Adam, often cast as the outsider, notes how rare it is for someone to leave without scandal. The camera lingers on a framed black and white portrait of Pamela as Peggy, smiling. Young, radiant, off-screen echoes beyond the screen. Tributes flood in. Eric Bredin tweets, "Pamela brought elegance and sincerity to Y&R's foundation. She gave us Peggy Brooks, and in doing so, gave us a reason to care. Rip, my friend." Kate Linder Esther shares a throwback photo of her and Pamela from a 1981 fan luncheon. "She laughed at everything," Kate writes, "especially the things that weren't funny." Soap Opera Digest publishes a full-page obituary. In a world of vixens and villains, it reads, "Pamela played the soul." Fans, too, feel the loss. On Reddit and Facebook groups, longtime viewers trade memories. "I was 12 when Y&R started. Peggy reminded me of my sister. I named my daughter after her. She never had a big exit, but maybe that's fitting." Quiet exits leave the deepest echoes. Aristotle Dumas and the haunting contrast. Back in Genoa City, the story surges forward. Amid the tribute episode, whispers circulate of a man named Aristotle Dumas, a shadowy philanthropist, a corporate raider. No one knows. He arrives on the same day as Peggy's memorial event, a deliberate counterpoint by the writers. Dumas is suave, cryptic, obsessed with psychology and influence. He crashes the event, not out of disrespect, but to observe. "I never knew her," he tells Phyllis, "but it's fascinating how death sanitizes memory." Phyllis bristles. "Some people earn their legacy," Dumas shrugs, "and some manipulate it." Here, the show crafts a meta-narrative. The clash between the era of innocence Peggy Brooks and the age of manipulation Aristotle Dumas. It's subtle, but powerful. Sally Spectra, still recovering from her own emotional collapse, listens to Dumas and says, "Peggy stood for healing. You stand for spectacle." To which Dumas responds, "In this town, they're often the same thing." Flashbacks and final goodbyes. The show does something rare. It flashes back to 1973. In soft black and white, we see scenes of Pamela as Peggy, walking through the hospital, embracing Snapper, crying quietly into her hands after losing a patient. A young Jill Foster passes her in the hallway. "You always try too hard to be good." Jill sneers. Peggy just smiles and says, "Someone has to." The montage ends with a voiceover from present-day Jill Jess Walton, watching old footage on her tablet. "She was the only one who ever looked at me like I could be redeemed," Jill says. "And I never said thank you." Tears fall. And for once, there's no twist. No plot, just grief. Critics reflecting the soap press. Pamela's legacy gets serious reappraisal. Michael Fireman writes, "Solo's Peggy was a relic of a different soap philosophy before shock value, before ratings gimmicks. She was rooted in emotional realism, and her passing reminds us that the foundation matters." The Washington Post publishes an op-ed titled, "When the Good Girl Dies, Mourning the Soul of Daytime." It argues that characters like Peggy are now rare and that perhaps they shouldn't be. TV Line adds, "In a world where villains are glamorized and redemption arcs come cheap, Peggy Brooks reminds us of something harder, living with quiet integrity." The final scene 1 week after the tribute episode, Y&R airs a quiet postscript. Lauren Fenmore walks into Crimson Lights. The lights are low. A single bouquet rests on the counter with a note, "For the one who always stayed kind." AD Lauren asks Sharon, "Do you know who left this?" Sharon shakes her head. The camera pans out. On a park bench nearby, Aristotle Dumas watches. For a brief moment, his face isn't calculating. It's reverent. In his hand is a copy of the Genoa City Gazette. The headline reads, "Peggy Brooks, the nurse who changed us all." He folds it slowly, whispers to himself, "Maybe not all of us are beyond healing." Then he walks away. Fade to black. Epilogue. In memoriam. In the closing credits, the show airs an in memoriam card, "In loving memory of Pamela Peters Sallow, 1949 to 2024, to those who never seek the spotlight, but become the stars just the same. Creativity. Reflection. This tribute masterfully blends narrative creativity with genuine emotion. By integrating Pamela's real-life death into the show's fictional universe, The Young and the Restless honors its history without sacrificing momentum.